Hi friends, my name's Host Eric. I'm a guy who lives to love and loves to live. So, it really breaks my heart to have to make this video, but you may have noticed I've been doing a lot of live streaming. I've been having a lot of people I don't know that well around here. And one of you guys in the chat took my lighter. And not this kind of lighter, it's the one with the long thing on it. Look, I'm not going to ask any questions. I just want it back. And I want whoever did it to suffer. And I want to ask some questions. But just come forward. Just say it was me. I stole your lighter. I did it maliciously. And I'll accept whatever punishment you have for me. You might not get banned. So if you're honest, if you come forth and just say, yeah, it was me. And Winston's mom, I know you smoke, so you're on the list of my suspects for sure. I don't know if you did it intentionally. I'm not saying you surely did. I'm not saying it was you, Winston's mom. You're probably not the only smoker. I know. What's your name? Lou. She smokes. She could have stolen it. That's definitely possible. Also, I smoke. It's possible I could have stolen it, I guess. I think I would remember that. I'm not normally a thief, so... I think I'd remember if I had stolen my own lighter. Now, I guess it's possible the cat stole it. Kitty, did you steal my lighter? She's licking her butthole, acting all normal, but... It wasn't you, though, huh? Okay, well, I'm just saying, you've been around the chat a lot. Not just you, a lot of people have been here, a lot lately, and not everybody smokes, though. I mean, I'll just come straight out and say it. My top suspect is Winston's mom. But, and it's like I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but she's an INTJ, so I'm thinking she's probably been planning this heist for a while. I mean, I would have been happy to give it to her. She didn't need to steal it, It could have been Octavio Silva. Maybe she stole my lighter in order to hold it hostage until I send her a picture. Bogdan Rajkovic. You have good eyes. I don't just look sexy. I wear true hats. My TI operational value definitely applies to words on hats. If these words aren't true, whatever it happens to say on my hat, I wouldn't wear it. Lich, hello. Good evening. And I hope you have a very cosmopolitan evening. This means I want you to have a good evening. I say, hello, I hope you're enjoying a most cosmopolitan evening. Why, yes I am. Most cosmopolitan. By cosmopolitan, though, I mean like the lives of people in Cosmopolitan magazine. So if you're having the most cosmopolitan evening, that means you are practicing 10 surprising ways to please your man in bed. Number 10. Next time when he comes home, try showing up at the door with nothing on but a martini. You chipped your tooth for the first time ever. Well, you know what the Germans say. We live 3 lives. The first ends with the loss of innocence. The second with the loss of teeth. And the third with the loss of life. No, I don't ascribe to the anti-white lighter movement, okay? I do ascribe to this. Before you buy a lighter, you go like that to listen to the sound of the liquid inside of it. Same with a woman. Same protocol with getting a woman. You gotta shake her up and down and listen for the sound of liquid inside of her. That means she's ripe. Hey, don't tell me an almost empty woman. Oh no, sir, she's refillable. No, I don't want to be constantly buying butane. Actually, I do have a can of butane here. And I do have a refillable lighter around here. There it is, over there. With the black refillable lighter, I left it in the car. I think maybe. Or probably more likely, one of you guys stole it. I mean, I've been trying to keep an eye out on everybody, you know. But what are you going to do when Winston's mom says, I have to go to the bathroom again? Okay. You know it's over there by your lighters. You know the last time she was here, a lighter went missing. They're not cursed, though. The thing about lighters is I've got a special something. I have an actual cigarette lighter in my cigarette lighter hole in the car. Old school, push it in, it gets hot, cigarette lighter. Came with it. When I bought the car, I was like, this car and I are destiny, obviously. It has a cigarette lighter in it? When's the last time you've seen a cigarette lighter in a car? Anyway. That's what makes me so special. That I have a cigarette lighter in the car. Do I think being very drunk makes TI Dom's report worse on TI tests? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. That's not true, though, Boba Fett, unfortunately. Look, there are 2 kinds of things in the world that it seems like a good idea to get an expensive one, okay? Those 2 things are sunglasses and lighters. In both instances, it's a fool's errand. Those 2 things are too losable to spend money on them. Now, granted, you'll have a cheap lighter, maybe refillable, that you'll not lose until you break it, okay? But if you buy an expensive one, it's got a duration of being a possession of yours for about 3 days, and then you're guaranteed to lose it. The sunglasses, same fucking thing. Every once in a while, every 5 years or so, I'll think, you know what, I'm going to buy a nice pair of sunglasses. They're fucking destroyed, lost, or otherwise gone in like fucking 5 days. Thank you, Octavio Silva. I appreciate that. This is Fred's video. I hope it does well on the shorts feed. How do you feel about moving the legal age for smoking tobacco up to 21 with alcohol? They already did that in California, so I mean, I don't really care. It's like probably a good idea. You know, it's we'd say 18-year-olds are adults, but it used to be 21-year-olds were adults and not 18-year-olds. But the reason it got switched to 18 Was it the argument that we're putting 18-year-olds into the military before they can vote and have a say about public policy? Well, that was pretty compelling, you know. So we ended up bringing the legal age of adulthood down to 18, but I think it's too young. If you could have full control of the public school system, what would you change? I'd defund it. I'd redirect all those funds towards, to the extent that I had to redirect them all towards the same sort of thing. I'd direct them all towards vouchers and make educators compete for clients like everybody else. That's where you get good educators. When you have to compete for clients, you have to be good. And not vouchers for schools either. Make parents do it a la carte. Make them buy the teacher. You know, make them hire a biology teacher, hire a English teacher, or whatever. And lower the requirements for what they have to, how much education they have to give their kids. Allow them to all do it all remotely. Allow everybody to test out of shit. Now, those test things have to be on site. You can't do those remotely. Too much cheating if you're going to do that. I say if you fight in the military, you should be able to smoke and drink, but you said it as I was typing it. Well, yeah, and most importantly, vote. The smoking and drinking thing is true. If you're old enough to die in a war, you're old enough to smoke and drink is a pretty compelling argument as well. But the argument that if you're old enough to die in a war, you're old enough to have a voice in this country's public policy is even more powerful argument, you know? I mean, that's what's wrong with school, right? Teachers don't have to compete for clients. They get a bunch of kids dumped on them at the beginning of the year, and they think of it in those terms, like, I got these horrible kids. You know, well, of course they think of it like that because there's no linkage between the service they provide to the clients and them getting paid. My horrible mug? This isn't that horrible. Is it? It's a little gross. Compulsory meth for soldiers? I'm listening. I don't think we should have compulsory meth for soldiers, but I love you too. But I do think that if a soldier does well in a battle, they should get to wear this hat in the next battle. That's like a football thing, you know. You know, well, it's not an SI problem, Sean. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like what somebody who stole my lighter would say. That's what that sounds like. Sounds like the guilty party coming in and immediately trying to deflect attention away from himself. You're not fooling me. You smoke, don't you? Be honest, you smoke, don't you? You're lucky they used half of your ass. Death by monkeys. Half of their ass. Most teachers, you're blessed if you get just a fraction of one of the cheeks. So I guess we figured out who stole my lighter. It was Sean. You weren't even on my suspect list. I'm very disappointed in you, Sean. I thought it was Winston's mom who stole it, but when I was outside smoking a cigarette last night at Denny's, when we were all hanging out at Denny's, remember? I mean, pretend Denny's. We were pretending to all go to Denny's together. But the point is, I went outside and I thought I'd left a lighter inside and she'd pocketed it. But now I get it. Sean revealed too much. He said too much. And my razor sharp, intuitive razors sliced the truth away from the words he said. And I ate it like lunch meat. Okay, but you know what I take away from that statement, Sean? If you can neither conform nor deny, I'm guessing you can confirm. And that means you're admitting it. Otherwise, you would have said you couldn't confirm. You were just trying to sneak that conform past me. That's Abraham Lincoln. Death by Monkeys. That's a picture of Abraham Lincoln on Sean's thing there. It's without the top hat. That's why it doesn't look so familiar. If you put Abraham Lincoln in a regular hat or no hat, it changes the way it looks entirely. How many Abraham Lincolns does it take to equal one Ulysses S. Grant? Is it a fraction of an Abraham Lincoln? Possibly. But we all hate fractions. Well, I know. Nobody likes fractions. It's not Abraham Lincoln? It's John Wilkes Booth, then. Sean's got a picture of John Wilkes Booth. Anyway, I'm putting up signs around the neighborhood. $10,000 reward. Have you seen this lighter? I mean, yeah, it's just a big lighter, but it's got a lot of sentimental value. A lot of sentimental value. It's like, wow, I really like that big. You don't have the mental faculty to effectively compare two vastly complex life forms? What if they're less than vastly complex? What if they're just mediumly complex? Best four presidents. Okay. Polk. Jefferson. Clinton. And oh, I don't know. Let's go with James Madison, who presided over the era of good feelings. Who wouldn't want to preside over that kind of an era? Even the stupidest human has a brain more complex than everything else in the universe. Are you sure about that? I mean, I've met some pretty stupid humans. Is it really that much more complex than, say, the atmosphere of Jupiter? Some people, I mean, I tell you whose brain is not more complex than the atmosphere of Jupiter. Sam Vankin. 205,000 idiots watch that guy. What in the world is going on? Big yawns for little Eric. Boy, I am as tired as 100 tires that have lost all of their tread, been retreaded, retired from being retreaded, and are now hanging on a shelf of exhausted tires. That's how tired I am. That's pretty tired. So, given that I'm so tired and I'm live streaming right now, maybe I should try to think of something interesting to talk about to pep things up a bit. Like, let's see. What's something interesting that's happening in the world right now? Well, there's a big alien Sasquatch meeting in at The Hague going on right now, where representatives from several different alien species are meeting with Sasquatches to discuss what to do about all the alien and Sasquatch shows being produced right now. The aliens and Sasquatches are both feeling as though they're losing their grip on the narrative. You know, Joe Rogan's a pretty big topic right now. Why? Like, what about him is a big topic? Boy, I would like to know what about Joe Rogan's a big topic. Is NI interesting or significant? No, NI. Well, I mean, the thing about holistic stuff is the quality of synergy itself is one that links to NI. So because synergy links to NI, anytime you've got sort of a takeaway about a complex system or something, and you understand how it works as a single thing in full, but not reducibly, you're dealing with NI. So for example, NI is what you need to use to be right about music. You don't necessarily need to use that much NI to be right about argumentation if you can have adequate TI to parse it down, especially if you're just responding to existing argumentation rather than trying to generate any. Prince Harry and his wife have their undies in a bunch over him? Are they upset about something? I mean, like, what did Joe Rogan do that they want to deplatform him? Deplatform's an interesting word. Relatively new word, I guess. Perhaps in an earlier incarnation, people would say, "Don't make me deplatform your shoes." I mean, the thing is, NI isn't designed to win arguments because it's talking about things that are irreducible. When it's best applied, right? Now, granted, certain NI users can work around reducing reducible stuff with their NI, but that doesn't make it. That doesn't mean that it's a preferable way to pay attention to things that are reducible, but it doesn't mean it's wrong either, you know? What makes a man go from flying Apaches in Afghanistan to total SJWism? Answer, a woman. No, fucking narcissists. I am convinced that woman is a narcissist. Meghan Markle, she's an awful human being. Because look, What did she engender? She separated that man from his family and made him set up shit so that he had to choose between her and them. That's textbook narcissist behavior. Have you tried a dictionary, Sean? Maybe you should use the dictionary. That's why people love me, because I'm so sweet like that. Well, the thing is, so far, from what I can tell, people who are discursively honest don't tend to get deplatformed. That, somebody might try to deplatform me for whatever reason, but the thing is, I'm right about everything, so you have to win. You have to win those arguments. You gotta. It's like somebody wants to engage me about deplatforming me. I'd be thrilled because it means I would have reached a certain level of visibility. Yeah, I'm 100% on Joe Rogan's side too. Obviously, I wasn't even in favor of deplatforming somebody like Alex Jones, who you could legitimately argue is sort of a threat to the public good in his discursive, his rampantly irresponsible discourse. Rachel Lapalosa, my darling. Yours is the love that keeps my heart tender. I use my heart, as I told Rachel earlier, for two things. To pump my blood and to love. Yes. Sweet, sweet love. Oh, I feel the emotion in my heart. It makes me want to dance the tango, the mysterious dance of love. I also feel love in my heart when I look at Kitty. No, I agree with you completely that stop watching and listening to people you don't like then. Completely, I agree with you. I can't help but be reminded of lapis lazuli upon seeing her last name. Lapis lazuli is a kind of stone, right? I mean, YouTube is not becoming the shittiest thing ever existed. For one thing, it's the only place where I am. And in case you've forgotten, Bogdan, I'm really, 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 really terribly, 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 hugely, 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 really very important. Like, important. So if I'm here, that means YouTube's important. Important like, hey, a bunch of nuclear ICBMs are heading our way. Like that level of important. Important like the president and every other president for every other country, plus all the other leaders combined. That kind of important. I'm important enough to wear this hat, Bogdan. You see this hat? You know why? I'm wearing this hat because I am sexy. Cake and I are neck and neck. Sometimes I'm in the lead, sometimes Cake's a little bit in the lead. The cake's very delicious. Coffee's up there too. You know, cake and coffee, especially together, can sometimes give me a run for my money for sure. I should have a fallback in case YouTube bans me. YouTube's not going to ban me. YouTube bans me, I'll start another YouTube channel. I mean, I have other YouTube channels already, so I just... No, I didn't steal it from Jennifer Lopez. I finally got it back from her. She stole it from me, along with one of my lighters, which I got that lighter back in his hat. Now, one of you guys stole that lighter. Because, you know, look, I know Rachel didn't take it. I've already searched her. I did a full cavity search. And I'm pretty sure the cat didn't take it, although I haven't eliminated that possibility entirely. I know I wouldn't steal my own lighter because I'm a very moral person. So that leaves all of you guys. You guys have been here a lot lately. You've been hanging out. I don't really know you that well. One of you, I think it's Sean. I believe we've identified the culprit, although I initially thought it was Winston's mom. Sean hasn't formally confessed to it, but I've got a pretty powerful circumstantial case against him. Oh no. We can hold you for 48 hours before you get to talk to your lawyer. It's a new rule. 48 hours, 48 days, or 48 years at our discretion. Well, you know, I understand Sean could be J-Lo. I would understand J-Lo wanting to not just announce that she's J-Lo, so she could act like a regular person on the internet, you know. I've noticed before Sean has a really big ass, so Sean could be J-Lo in the body of J-Lo's lawyer, who's also Sean's lawyer, who's also Sean's father, and J-Lo turns out to be Sean's long-lost grandmother. It's a twisted love triangle indeed. It goes by the title Oedipus Sex. Most of the film is just hardcore porn. But a little bit of dialogue at the beginning where Sean says, "Hello. What's up with Joe Rogan? He's getting canceled, supposedly. There's a rumble of cancellation juice flowing his direction. Obviously, Joe Rogan shouldn't be canceled. It's ridiculous." So, I mean, you don't need any Rogaine if you just have a hat. It's like hair that you can take on and put off. When I have my hat on, everybody says, "You think Bogdan set up his own cancellation?" I very seriously doubt that. I don't think Joe Rogan's that smart, Bogdan. I'm sure you could put together a reel to get me canceled if you tried to, but The thing is, I'd want to engage directly with everybody saying those things and answer every fucking argument they're making. Who's Brie Larson? Who's T. Lu 2? Brie Larson's that lady who played Fly Around Girl. Captain Marvel? Or something like that, right? Fly Around Girl. I'm uncancelable, motherfuckers. Cancel me. I'll cancel you. Who's Eric Strauss? This guy right here. This guy. Yeah, that's fun. That fellow. Oh, you mean like, who is Eric Strauss? Oh, wow. I'm really passionate about horticulture, and I'm somebody who takes seriously activism in my community to make the lives of the individual people in my community better. Okay. My name is Eric Strauss, and I am retarded. It's unclear. Don't feel bad for me. Also, I enjoy a lot of teaching. But you know what? I may be retarded, but they're the ones who have been dumb. I apologize for asking a personal question. You do not need to apologize for that. I'm an open book. But your surname sounds not to be of American origin. It's German. Both sides of my family are German, back to Pennsylvania Dutch. Like, my dad grew up in Amish country in Pennsylvania, where it's a German community, and his family's all German. And my mom grew up in a different German. I mean, my mom didn't grow up there, but she was of the Brandstetters, which was another German family in the German community in Missouri. So, I come from the Strausses and the Brandstetters, and they're both German families. And then my mom's dad was a Schneider, also German. So it's all German all the way back, as far as I can tell. And it was strange, when I watched this German TV show the other day, I was struck by something I've never been struck by before, because I haven't really watched any German TV shows before or anything. But, with Netflix, you watch whatever seems good. I don't mind closed captions at all. So, anyway, when I was watching, I thought, oh, fuck, like, these are my people. I can just tell. I just, feel like I'm one of these people. It was strange. Because I'm an American, I'm not a German. But I could tell I'm, somehow it's imprinted in me that I'm one of those people. Like, when they're talking, I can feel the language just settling into me. I could just say it. If it's like, if I were gonna try to learn a language, I guarantee you. I mean, I kind of speak Spanish a little bit, but I guarantee you, I'd pick up German extra fast, faster than any other language. Just something about it just seemed to be just out of reach from being completely understood by me as they're saying it. And all the people, when they were acting their various things that were happening to them and their various emotional reactions and their thoughts and whatever. Whereas I never think about this with characters and shows generally, but I thought, oh, I understand that person's motivations. I get why that guy is doing this stuff. I used to like girls when I drank. It comes in the coolest bottles. You know, it's got those little pop things at the top. Pagan European blood? Pagan, huh? Alright. So what does that mean? I get to go to Stonehenge? Stonehenge is where the magic really happens. There's a lot of powerful pagan energies there. Hypothetical. Your beard just falls off, reveals your Hitler stash, and you've been alive and hiding out right where you are since World War II. That would be surprising. This house, or the house was here before the rebuild, was built in, I think, 48, 49, 50, something like that. So, it's not impossible. Illuminati are illuminating that which is naughty. They're illuminating everything that's haughty tonight. Illuminati. Alright. If you love the Illuminati, the dominant elite, and satanic rituals involving removing adrenochrome from children, well, then you're going to love the hilarious new sitcom, Adrenochrome, I Barely Know Him. Odinism. Well, I'm sure there's been quite a resurgence in Odinism since the Marvel movies. Ooh, yeah. You know what? I think I'm gonna believe in Odin now. I like this Odin guy. He's cool. Who plays Odin? That old English actor guy. He's a pretty famous guy. Makes me really want to buy into Odinism. Oh, what's it called, Mr. Fancy Pants Words? I've heard about it. I read those crazy shits before, you know. But it is a good idea to make a sitcom. An Illuminati sitcom, where the key players in the sitcom are various members of the Illuminati and their oppressed underlings. No, but seriously, you must have heard of Varg Vikernes? I have not heard of Varg Vikernes. It sounds like a fake name. Varg Vikernes. Why don't you just name yourself Vagina? You know? But basically what that name is Vagina. Okay, you like Vagina. Good for you, Boba Fett. But it doesn't change the fact you need to stop having such a dumb name. Varg Vikernes, not acceptable. Okay? Burzum guy, later political blogger. I don't know who Burzum is. What Burzum is. Well, I do know this, Sean. Statistics are 100% convincing. Sink's nephew, he's insufferable. The Vargs. The Vargs was a job, being a Varg. Maybe you've heard of the band Mayhem? No, I have not heard of the band Mayhem. Did their music sound like the title of their song? That's what inquiring minds want to know. But I got a special gift for you that I know you're going to thank me for forever. Oh, sure, maybe not instantly. Maybe it'll take a few years for you to realize the gift that I've given you. But it's definitely a gift. It's called real mayhem. I want you to truly understand the meaning of the word mayhem. Man, that's a crazy beat, crazy beat, crazy beat. Man, that's a crazy beat, crazy beat, crazy beat. Crazy beat, crazy beat, crazy beat, crazy beat, crazy beat. Oh no, it's mayhem. You know what the actual definition of mayhem is? I'll tell you what the actual definition of mayhem is. It means to like chop off somebody's arm or something. Like maiming. That's the legal definition of mayhem, is to like chop off somebody's arm. Isn't that weird? You wouldn't think that's what it means legally, but that's the law against mayhem is a law against that. So, you know, the Vikings wouldn't have done very well in our anti-mayhem society. Oh my God. I watched one thing with Cink, Cenk. I watched this one argument he was having with Ben Shapiro, I think. And I was stunned by the complete absence of cogent thought in that Cink guy. He is not qualified to speak about politics at all, remotely. He does not understand how to use words correctly, you know? No, I didn't love Ben Shapiro's work in that argument either. I gotta say that. I don't want to check out his nephew Hassan. Um, I already know his Cink is not. But Ben Shapiro didn't do a good job either. His arguments were not wise. I kind of expected better from Ben Shapiro. He's pretty good, you know. I guess that's what people want to engage. You know, they want to engage emotionally with stuff, and they want to feel gratified to be among smug, same thinkers, and reassured that their own smugness in their boogeyman fetishizing is justified and appropriate. They want a leader who will reassure them that what deep down they know is not good is acceptable and appropriate. I mean, I'm not really doing a lot of keeping track of shit either. Yeah, Oliver Linehan, I'm glad you're framing it like that too. Because at the beginning of the thing, I was like, I don't want to see this shit. I can just tell already it's not going to be good at all. It's not going to be convincing to anybody who's smart. And and then the person was cool, was good at eventually getting me to look at it. But when I went over there, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was just like fucking garbage. And it's like, I told that person, look, I don't want to look at this thing because I already know what it's going to be. And of course I went, yeah, how can you possibly know without actually looking at it? Paganism and Islam is what's happening in Europe. I know about Islam in Europe, and I have a clear stance on that, you know. As I said for quite some time, there should be no European countries that allow Islamic refugees. As far as paganism, I don't even know what that, like how that manifests as a social political movement. It doesn't make any, I don't know what that means. I think it's a bad idea to accept Islamic refugees is because the refugees themselves are not a separate population from what they're running from. They are what they're running from. I don't understand how anything manifests at all, so you're good. Oh, I see. You're responding to that statement I made. All I know is that I think of paganism as basically worshiping of nature spirits, like multi gods, polytheism, uh, kind of like spiritualism. All that kind of shit feels like paganism. You know what I mean? So, what's your point, Bogdan? I mean, I'm Christian, but I'm not sure what your point is. Yeah. Why don't the Middle Eastern countries take them in? You're not very Islamic of them, is it? Aren't they supposed to love each other? I mean, I would note, Bogdan, of course, it's important to remember there are no current crusade wars going on. So I don't know what you mean by that metaphor, but you don't mean anything literal. The point is that people dislike the Catholic Church? How am I supposed to glean that point from from the statements you made? I mean, which people dislike the church? Islamic people and pagans? I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Catholic Church. I'm Christian. Certainly he's not my pope. I don't know if you heard about this thing back in the day, Buggin, but there was this guy named Martin Luther King Jr. in Europe who nails his I Have a Dream speech to a church door. It's called the Reformation. Have you heard about that, Bobby? You heard about the old Reformation? I have a dream that someday Protestant churches will outnumber Catholic churches. I have a dream. Martin Luther King, in his earlier incarnation when he nailed that shit to the church door. Are you sure that wasn't Martin Luther King Jr., Jeremiah Fix? I mean, Martin Luther, it just sounds like an incomplete name. Like it needs a King Jr. after it, you know? I mean, I've already published that video. Eric's short version of the Bible, correct version of the Bible. I could do more correct versions of the Bible. God assigned the task to me. Right, I'm assuming we're talking about Martin Luther King Jr., yeah. Because I don't know if you've heard, Morridge, but Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream to fuck a lot of chicks. And he did. His wife wasn't happy about it, but, you know, he's a great American hero. He was the one who envisioned, many years before they occurred, the first Benetton ads. Was Martin Luther King Jr. a Muslim? No. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Christian. He's got 95 theses and the Pope ain't one. That's fantastic, Oliver Linehan. That's a very memeable thing right there. Get a picture of Martin Luther and his 95 theses and put, got 95 theses, but but the Pope ain't one. I'm not gonna check it out. Jordan Peterson's notions about the psychological significance of biblical stories are likely to make me go, bleh. You need to use a little bit more thinking, a little bit less intuition, Mr. Peterson. You know what I'm saying? Your empirics can't replace reasoning. That's where you're going wrong. Well, he should be depressed. After all, somehow, someway, by Jung's collective unconscious, he knows I have schooled the shit out of him. He feels it in his heart. It depresses him. So here's the thing. Once I'm finally president and have the bully pulpit and tell everybody how to talk right again, then God's going to make a new thing that's like a rainbow, but it's not a rainbow. And it's his promise to never again let idiots control the narrative so much. That's what's going to happen. Oh, polytheism's delicious. You see, Sean, it gives you a lot of advantages over your monotheism. So, sure, I could call in a general practitioner God, but what if I'm journeying somewhere? Well, I need the God of journeys. He's a specialist. He's going to be an expert on that. What if I'm going hunting? I need the God of hunting gazelles. What if I'm trying to bag some chick? Well, I need my big penis-shaped totem to cast magic, you know. Well, yeah, I mean, all those groupists are what they oppose. Just like a sanctimonious well, it's a little bit of sanctimony. If you don't like sanctimony, well, the thing is, you get a little sanctimony from me, of course, but my sanctimony, I had it specially blended for me by Sanka. So it's extra delicious and less offensive than other sanctimony. Well, that's the thing, Sean. If you want convenience, do you want to ask your general practitioner God, or do you want to ask the God of convenience? The name of the God of convenience is Ampam. AMPM is named after him. Their concept of God and foundation underlying their entire culture is so different from ours. It's actually amazing people in the West interpreted Jesus' teachings as far as they did. Jesus' teachings were interpreted wrong by somebody? Hold the phone. Are you sure? He spat on Alex like a llama at that thing? Who's Alex? It's the many paths to the one truth. Polytheism, very esoteric knowledge that is mostly lost upon and beyond. And beyond what? Most. Thanks, Jeremiah Fix. Jimmy Dore might be nicer, but he's either essentially dumber than the other TYT associated people, or he's running a giant grift. Yeah, that's the thing. You never really know. Because it is the case that baiting works. Zizek's a lost cause. I think Zizek's a bad ENTP. He's an ENTP gone bad. I mean, I think Zizek's really amoral. Zizek charges college kids a bunch of money to see his lectures, and then he spends that money on cocaine and fucks the co-eds. I mean, it's just like, okay. You're a scumbag, dude. Charging rich college kids to go to his lectures about communism so he can buy cocaine and fuck the college girls. That's my read on Zizek. That is not living the dream, okay? That's like it's like if you turn to the dark side as an ENTP, that's living the dream. Okay? That's dark side ENTP. Like, haha, these fucking tards. He didn't have the respect enough for the people he's talking to be honest with them. Alan Watts is better than McKenna. McKenna is better than Zizek. The thing about Zizek is this. The only way that Zizek has been useful in debate on a few occasions, but this is how he's useful and when you can use him. If you want to bog your opponents down in a bunch of fucking indecipherable garbage, you read a Zizek card. You have college. Ew. Who are you? Zizek? College is for losers. You sorry Terrence McKenna got the brain cancer? Well, that's what he gets for being a softie. He had soft brain. He was like, mysticism. Everybody loves a little mysticism. Who's a very demure girl? Reese Mogg? Who's Reese Mogg? I like the name, Reese Mogg. He injected so many plants? Who injected so many plants? How do you inject plants? You'd think you'd have to render them to some sort of liquid before you could inject them. Not that I've ever injected stuff, but it just seems like leaves don't inject well. You know, we can dream. Maybe Monsanto will create injectable weed. The plants injected vaccines into him, I guess. What do you mean ingested? Okay. You're a non-native English speaker. It's totally understandable. You mean ingested. Emma Badgeland. Why is everybody named Vagina tonight? Please, everybody stop naming your children Vagina. It's not appropriate. Just name her, if you gotta do something horrible like that, just name her Regina. I'm gonna Regina her after I Gina her the first time. What does Gina her mean? It means sticking my penis in her Gina, you know? In her Gina cabinet. But you know what my girl does? She keeps her most breakable parts up in a Gina cabinet. Girl, lady, woman, child, baby, female, come over here. I gotta put some things away in your Gina cabinet. You know what, Bogdan? Aren't we all, every single one of us, really? Don't all of our names mean slave? Isn't every single one of us a slave to something? For some, their master may be music. For others, their master may be love. Still others may find themselves enslaved to the passionate pursuit of tennis. But each of us is not truly free until we're enslaved by that which we choose. Wow, wise words, Eric. So wise. Yeah, some of us are slaves to the existential terror. You know, it's like I said in that video last night at the beginning, I was talking about the subconscious mind that people talk about. The fool who persists in his folly becomes wise. Imperials, oh no. Is the Imperial army of clones coming to blow up your planet with a Death Star? Sorry to hear that. Are you in that part of Eastern Europe where Russia's going to take you over? If so, just wait till I'm president. That's just not going to happen when I'm president. Oh, your last name is Lord Burns? Okay. You know, my friend Johnny, or ex-neighbor, ex-brother-in-law Johnny, he worked with, or for a guy, really. The guy was the like, head administrator for his PAU. Anyway, the guy's name was Royal Lord the Third. He had people call him RJ, but his name was Royal Lord the Third. Why not become president now? Well, as I've explained before, when I go to launch the presidential campaign, I want to be very serious about it. Before I can do that, I need either a very large amount of resources or a much larger amount of visibility before I can begin than I have now, and additionally, then some more resources, right? So I could have, you don't have to be especially visible if you've got shit tons of money, but if you want to get a good campaign launched, you know, you really need to be something of a celebrity before before you can pull it off. Yeah, I mean, Putin's a nightmare. I've said Putin's a nightmare for years and years and years. No, I didn't see that DSP video about me. What does it say? I don't have Discord or watch it. Release the hounds. What did he type me as? Am I a jumper? Oh my god. He typed me as ESFJ. He's got such a poor understanding of expert intuition. Like, shockingly poor, you know. It's amazing. Did he see my 4 hour long freestyle about typology yesterday? The thing is, I do plan to do the start of this upcoming month. I am going to actually break the world record for longest freestyle rap. It's only like 36 hours. I can do 38 hours, no problem. I did 4 hours yesterday, and I wasn't really, like, you know, I'm going to go back to the beginning. When I get a new bottle, you know, after I got my sleepy week and stuff, and get back to a new bottle of Adderall, one of the first couple of days that I have it, and I'm gonna, you know, I'll set it up so I put some time into setting up in advance, but I'm gonna do it because that does not sound difficult to me, you know. I'm very sure I can do that. 38 hours is plenty long time to freestyle, sure, but if I'm fully rested at the start and added up properly and everything, you know, it's like I could go forever. I could definitely do 40 hours or something. I'm sure it'll be difficult. I'll be probably losing my voice towards the end, but I've got a good 40 hours in me. I'm like full blast energy at the beginning of one of those things, you know. Hours just drip by like nothing. So, and you know, to be honest, I found I quite enjoyed that the freestyle, a lot of parts of it anyway. Listening back to it, and I was absolutely delightfully surprised that there were a few people there. I mean, the majority of the people there weren't a lot of people there, but were quite enthusiastic about it. Like, wow, you're really killing it. Wow, this is great. Ah, I love this. This is amazing kind of shit. Like, it's incredible. It was incredibly gratifying, dude, because I didn't expect anybody to appreciate it really, except in the sense that it was a long time thing. So it was very gratifying. It was obviously Justin. I think Justin, who was there, identified as any polar. Seemed obviously was because he was saying things like, you know, nobody is ever going to beat this world record. Where do all these words come from? Like, okay, this is not the world record for longest freestyle. This is just for longest MBTI freestyle. But that guy, I got the sense that, yeah, that's your polar looking at somebody doing your polar or the dominant. You must just be like, if it's an extroverted function, it's kind of like, what the hell? Thanks, Lady Lou. I appreciate it. That's really kind of you. I guess, operating in isolation for such a long time. In other words, it's not like I engage rap, freestyle rap, as a consumer. I certainly am not part of any rap community. Um, well, I guess it's hard for me to know how like I like it, you know. But there's always that smell of your own farts thing. I have gotten better at it too. I've noticed. I didn't used to be nearly that good at it. So that was when you practice on live streams shit for a while. Like I've gotten better at playing my songs too on the guitar. A lot better. Sometimes I listen to the live recordings of the songs and I go, "Wow, Eric, you sound really good. You sound like you really know what you're doing. Like my pitch is pretty damn good when I'm singing. I'm very like ultra pitch critical when I'm listening. Um, and so a little bit off will bug the shit out of me. It's weird because it's what happens when you spend a really long time failing at something before you start to succeed at it. Kind of is it's hard to believe that you're actually that anything's changing, even though you suspect it is. You're like, I think I'm getting better at this. I think I might actually be getting good at some point. But and that's for songwriting or rapping or anything music at all, really. But you never really know what to believe. It's like based on overall numbers, obviously I'm not good because otherwise I'd have millions of people listening to me, right? Um, but I don't apply the same thinking to like Sam Banking or something. I don't think that because he's got 200,000 subscribers, that means he's good. Because that's not the kind of thing that well, Death by Monkeys. I do have trained vocal cords. I was in boys choir during my youth. I'm just saying that. I guess what I'm saying is I've noticed a change that I used to be a little more sloppy in the execution, pitch wise, than I am now. And for things that have really tricky interval things going on, uh, I usually nail them spot on. Whereas rather than having to like glissando up to it or something. So in that regard, I've that's really what I'm talking about. Is that stuff. The thing is, my vocal cords, my voice is either in in what's the word in heather or not, you know. So it's like right now my voice is shot to hell, and that's true as long as the riffage is good and the well you're talking about electric guitar, but I'm talking about with rapping as long as the riffage is good, which means the rhythmic pattern and your timing is on, then you can get away with some little bit of stuff. But Doing an over 20-hour non-stop freestyle may damage your vocal cords. I doubt it. We'll be fine. I'll keep it in mind at the beginning. I'll pace myself in terms of trying to start kind of quiet. The thing that I'm looking forward to about it is a lack of a topic. I didn't like having to keep talking about cognitive functions yesterday. If I can just freestyle whatever I want, it's gonna be easy squeezy. Well, yeah, I'm definitely gonna. It's gonna require preparation. I've already got a plan in place for like where to poop, and I can be off screen but still pooping. Yeah, a fully rested voice beforehand. Starting comfortable, and probably trying to avoid a lot of like singing parts. Maybe start in general with slower stuff as well. Try to get in a good first couple hours, just kind of chill rapping, and then you're gonna have to ride the energy flows. Obviously, people are gonna be dropping in and out. But like once I get past like 12 hours, people are gonna go like, you know what, you might fucking do this. And then it'll get more interesting for me, and as it gets closer, more people will come in. She went on vacation there and liked it a lot and wanted to move there. Yeah, I'm going to have several guys on hand to shoot their loads in my throat to keep my voice lubricated. Because man seed is the best thing for that. What do you think my reasoning is, Jeremiah Fix? I do have a reason for it. I want to know if you're right. Your ex, a singer, swore by this throat spray called Singer Saving Grace. Licorice or slippery elm? Ooh, slippery elm sounds dangerous. That sounds like a fall. Sounds like a slip and fall claim. No, I titled it the way I did because I didn't want it to be clear which side I was on. I thought by using the word visionary, it would make it seem it would skew towards being on his side. In other words, I wanted to get people like if you're a fan of Sam Barkton and you know the video is gonna tear him to shreds, you probably don't look at it. And if you're a fan, if you hate Sam Barkton and you know the video is going to tear him to shreds, then you might want to look at it. But if it's unclear or ambiguous in the title what's going to happen, then that increases the likelihood of people from both camps watching it, or at least trying it out for a bit, you know. All right, good night, Death by Monkeys. Good night. Sleep tight. Okay? Do let any bugs that you encounter bite you. Those are my instructions, my parting instructions to you. I don't expect Sam Barkman to watch that video. I'm sure he won't. That's that kind of thinking, Jeremiah Fix, is person specific FE, whereas mine is audience-wide FE. Although I'm not sure if I'm right about that thing, my reasoning. I'm not sure if my reasoning is correct at all, but that's what it is. I don't know how to know if it's correct. It's like with YouTube, shit just seems to happen. You know, by and large, when a video hits and I watch it a couple of times, I understand why and how and why it's better than my other videos, and that's why it hit more. You know, so YouTube did a pretty good job of linking quality of your videos to performance against your other videos. It may not do a good job of linking what we think of as being quality in general to success in general, but it definitely whatever I was saying. I don't know. I'm tired. I think I'm going to tell a Host Eric's bedtime story and then call it a stream after I pull this banger up. Host Eric's bedtime stories are, of course, a way for all of us to connect with the Jungian archetypes that lie at the foundation of all human experience. Which archetype are you? The father, the sage, the fool, the lover? Let's find out in tonight's episode. Mrs. Mom, you say you didn't take it, but I know you smoke. I caught a quick glimpse of you as you were leaving Denny's and you were rattling more than one lighter in your pocket. And you were sitting next to my lighter when I went outside to smoke. Because I had 2 lighters with me as well. So, I mean, that's not damning necessarily. But also you looked very nervous as we were walking away. And I think I heard briefly as you were about to get into your car, I didn't take your lighter. Which I think I found really suspicious. Oh, it was the light within the whole time? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just my pilot light went out. My bad, Winston. I thought my lighter was stolen. It was just my pilot light went out inside of my heart. I can only assume there was a strong wind. And you know what? 16 playlists. One of those lighters was lost to each of the 16 personality types with no duplication. Coincidence? I think not. I'm glad I was able to incorporate Liam Neeson into today's thumbnail because, as we all know, he represents, more than anybody else, any problems related to taking. Sure, that was great. I loved that video. I'm glad I got around to watching it sooner than later. I found it really interesting. Like, I didn't know that. You know, I didn't know that the type that most frequently said, I thought I was this, but turns out to be something else, was INFP. I had no idea. I mean, that's what compiling data does for you, I guess, huh? Well, I mean, I like this better. You can control the meow bit. It's multi-purpose, like, you know, not that I ever do this anymore. I haven't done it in years and years, but let's say I needed to glow up blow a glass pipe for some, you know, casual Sunday meth smoking? Well, I have to have a torch for that, you know. Now, granted, sure, I'd probably just buy one rather than try to blow one. Because, you know, back in the day, it wasn't necessarily easy to find stores that sold meth pipes. So, what it was easy to find were stores that sold tiny paper roses in little glass tubes. And, of course, why did they sell those things? Why? I wonder why tweakers are so into buying little paper roses. I guess they just love beauty, the tweakers. They love beauty. You know? That's why they're always buying those little paper roses. Before I knew what those things were for, I had wondered. I was like, who buys these things? Of course, everybody who buys them, the first thing they do is throw away the little rose. The second thing they do is take out their blowtorch. And the third thing they do is blow a meth pipe with it. That's why those things existed. Now they don't really anymore because there's a lot more head shops around. Smoke shops. Like any kind of smoke shop now is also like a head shop. So it didn't used to be that way. It used to be like there'd be cigarette places that just had cigarettes and tobacco stuff. But now any one of those stores also has bongs, all kinds of pipes, whippets, you know, shit like that. Well, I like your thinking there. I like your thinking, mister. Well, that's because I've gotten so much more exciting, Boba Fett. I've gotten so exciting that people have said, something exciting is going on over here, and they've rushed over to see. And they were right. This is really exciting. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's like, will I survive this level of stress on my cardiovascular system? My heart is pounding in my chest. You can probably see it through my shirt. Boom. Boom, 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 like that. Because we're about to embark on a most perilous journey of adventure that is going to rock your socks until they're knocks on your clocks, okay? And if you have been waiting for a long time for that to occur, you're not the only one. Everybody has. When are they going to come around and knock on my clock? People say. Well, today's the day, because I'm here with a clock knocker that's going to knock your clock off. The fight is good. What's the fight? I don't know what the fight is. But anyway, the perilous journey we're about to embark on is called Host Eric's Bedtime Stories. Now, Host Eric is really feeling sleepy right now, so I have no idea how this bedtime story is going to turn out. But it will be a bedtime story regardless of how it turns out. Just as this is a live stream, no matter how it turns out. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do here as far as lighting goes, I want just a wee tad bit of leprechaun lighting. But I don't want a big light on, you know? So I'm trying to set the mood. And what's the mood? The mood is bedtime story. Oh yeah. So okay, here we go. You don't what? We shall be sleeping right now. Well, listen, you'll be going to sleep in a little bit after the bedtime story. You don't want to miss the bedtime story because that's not cozy. If you miss the bedtime story, you're not being adequately cozy. And coziness is a virtue we can all enjoy. Just like curfew is a virtue we can all enjoy. We can all enjoy the virtue of curfew. Okay. Now, I'm back in my chair, but I'm in the dark. That's kind of fitting, isn't it? Now you're thinking, wow, Eric's really setting the mood for this bedtime story. I hope it's not too spooky. I don't know if it's going to be spooky or not. We'll find out, I suppose. I'm not planning on making it spooky. But we'll see what the story gods deliver us tonight. You just never really know. Okay. Time to settle in for a story of a journey most perilous. A perilous journey filled with excitement, adventure, spills, chills, thrills, learning, fascination, wonder, majesty, regality, justice, truth, goodness, and a very warm and fragrant smell. So that's just a little bit. This is what you call the foreword to the book. Okay? It was written by somebody else. Now, this next bit is the introduction to this story, okay? Also written by somebody else. When they asked me to write about Eric Strauss's bedtime story, I was hesitant at first. Am I really up to the challenge? I'm not even sure if I liked the story. After all, I hadn't even heard it yet. But I said, you know what? I can do this. I can write the introduction to this story before Eric begins it, without knowing what's going to be in it. And I can still confidently introduce the story by saying, wow, this upcoming story is a story you're going to hear. And I too will hear it. My name is Datrick Inconchon, and I am a writer myself and a lover of literature. I'm a believer in the Western canon of books and in a more inclusive, larger canon to incorporate our new diversity, which I too embrace, even though I am a heterosexual white male. Anyhow, I've gotten a little off topic here. This story that Eric's about to tell, mind-blowing? We'll find out. I'm going to find out at the same time you do. Well, without further ado, here's Eric with his story. Thanks, Datrick. Didn't quite catch your last name, but I appreciate the kind introduction to the book. You're welcome. Okay, so hi. Welcome to Eric's exciting book of peril and adventure. I'll be beginning the story in a little bit here. I just like to have a lot of introductory nonsense first. So I just want to go through a list of a few disclaimers, rules, requests, suggestions, encouragements, admonishments, and a couple of dire warnings. Okay, here we go. So please do not raise your hands at any point during this, because we do have a couple of parts of the story where we've got large razor sharp slides of blade that will be zipping over your heads to create more realistic sound effects. If you put your arms up, your hands will be chopped off. So please, everybody, nobody put your hands up over your head at any point during this story. Second, we do not allow Mexicans. If you are Mexican, you are not allowed in here. And our reason is we're racist against Mexicans. Alright, third rule. There is smoking allowed, but only in designated smoking areas, which are outside the lobby to the left, next to the bathrooms, and outside the lobby to the right, inside the dumpster. And if you could please, when you stay next to the bathroom, make sure you can smell any poo smell coming from the bathroom. We'd like you to experience some consequences for choosing to smoke. Third rule, please no talking or chatting. I see you chatting there with my eyes closed. I can still see it. No chatting during the story. No, no thinking about anything else during the story. I don't want you having any emotional response that's not exactly precipitated by and prompted by something in the story. Don't let your mind wander. If you want to take some Adderall right now so you can focus, go ahead. I can wait a minute or so. I got more rules, so you go get that real quick. Next rule, what is it, number 5 now? Please remain seated throughout the entire story. This is a story that could potentially be so shocking you might be blown off your feet if you're standing up, and that could cause a head injury. Next rule, which I believe is 6, is at the end of the story and during the story, you should be saying things like, "Oh my God, that story is amazing. Wow, Eric's telling such a great story." Things like that. Now, keep in mind, I know this contradicts one of the earlier rules. That rule there is an exception to that former rule. Okay, now next rule. You should be taking notes the whole time. Okay, those are all the rules for you. If I have more rules later, I'll come up with them. Now, you probably want to get down to the story at this point. You're probably ready to start hearing what happens in the story. And we will get there. We will. But I just wanted to do some acknowledgments. I want to say thanks to my publisher, Don, my agent, Jane. I want to say thanks to my assistant, Marion, and to my makeup guy, Bradley, and to Rachel, of course, for all of her support during this whole process. I want to thank the Institute for the Development of Eric's Stories for their ongoing financial support. I'd like to thank the corn industry for the provision of corn. I want to thank the clouds in the sky for providing rain to the state of California. And most of all, I want to thank you and viewers like you for making this PBS show possible. Okay, so time to start the story. Alright, here we go. Once upon a time, there lived 3 friends who were going to college together. They had been assigned to the same floor of the dorm. And the 3 friends were named Jenna and Helen, and the other one was also named Helen, so that was obviously a problem. Jenna, Helen, and Helen, well, the problem was, which Helen are you talking about, right? So the second Helen decided to go by, or people started calling her by, her middle name, which was Nellie. So at that point, basically everybody just knew them as Jenna, Helen, and Nellie, although some people call them Jenna, Helen, and Helen, but when asked to specify which Helen, they'd refer to Nellie as Nellie, and they'd say Nellie Helen, but not Helen Helen. And in this fashion were the two Helens told apart. So anyway, Jenna, Helen, and Nellie, they lived on the same floor of the dorm, like I said, and their dorm was called Hochter House. It was one of 3 dorms in this quad, a college they went to, and the college was called Mary South College. Mary South College was a small private university that was not really prestigious, kind of a party school, but it was mostly for like rich kids who couldn't get into the more fancier rich kid schools. So it was kind of a fallback school, option 2 school. But, you know, for Jenna, Helen, and Nellie, all 3 of them, it had always been what they were aiming for. They were hoping they could get in there instead of community college because they weren't the brightest girls in the world. They weren't really into college for collegey things so much as they were for the atmosphere, the games and such, because Mary South did have a good football team. That was one thing I had going for it. And they went to all the games, you know. And anyway, this upcoming weekend there was a game. So Jenna, Helen, and Nellie naturally had student section tickets, but they looked at the weather report and they realized, oh my God, it's going to be so cold. Jenna says to Helen, Nellie, come over here. Gather around my laptop and look at this, what I'm showing you. It's going to be minus 6 degrees at the start of the game, with temperatures dropping to minus 20 degrees at the end of the game. Fahrenheit degrees, of course, because we're Americans. And Helen says, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's so cold. And Nellie says, I agree as well. Because Nellie and Helen talk the same. And then Helen said, why are they talking like me? And Nellie said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imitate you. I couldn't help it. I'm one of those mischievous foreign exchange students from the British Isles. And Helen said, well, I don't like it. And Nellie said, oh, again, I'm terribly sorry. I won't do that again. And then we went back to Jenna, and she said, okay, listen, guys, I'm kind of the leader of this group. I've been working hard this whole year, and I've been doing pretty good. Like, I passed like most of my midterms, and I did have, and I think I could get to retake the one I didn't pass. And Helen was like, your physics bad. And then Nellie says, okay, well, what does it have to do with anything? I don't understand. And then Jenna says, it's just I really want to reward myself with a fun time of the game. And I want to wear my cute outfit. But it's gonna be so cold. And then Helen says, but you've got cute outfit for cold weather too. And then Nellie says, now, listen to me, Jenna. You remember what happened last time when we had a cold game? And Jenna hangs her head and says, yeah, I know. I caught my death of pneumonia. I was in the student union infirmary for a week and a half. And, of course, the other girls nod. Right then, in walks Tom. Tom's the place kicker for the football team. Sup, girls? How you doing? What's your name? Jam? It's Jenna. Oh, right, Jenna. Right. And what's your name? Helen. Felon? Not Heaven! Heaven? Her name's Helen. Oh, right, okay. Why do you talk like that? Just don't say that. I'm glad people about it. Don't make fun of me. Okay, my bad, I'm sorry. You do talk kind of funny, though. I know! At this point, Helen runs off into her room and slams the door. And then Jenna says, "Great job, Tom. Now look what you did. You made her run up and cry in her room." And Tom's like, "Oh, now I feel bad. You think she wants to smoke a joint?" And no, she doesn't want to smoke a joint, okay? She doesn't even smoke weed anymore. She quit. Did she ever smoke weed? Yeah, for like a week at the beginning of the freshman year. That doesn't even count. I've got to agree with Tom there. Pipes in Nellie. Oh, I do agree with him. That does not count. Alright, you guys, it doesn't matter. The point is, she's crying, and she's got a pretty good reason to. You were really insensitive, Tom. Look, I already said I'm sorry, jeez. I just point out I couldn't help it. It's like, can you guys hear that? That girl's talking funny. Yes, we can hear it, obviously. Anyway, you know we got the big game tomorrow, right? Yes. Well, what? Oh, do I need to say it? Like, Tom, is that all you ever think about? Can we talk about what you just did to poor Helen for a second? He's like, okay, but then after that, will you blame me? Yes, just... Then Nellie says, what's her name again? I'm so terribly sorry. I've forgotten your name. We are best friends. How could you forget my name? I'm also the main character. Yes, I'm terribly sorry. I'm British. I don't really have very much of a memory. You forgot her name? says Tom. Yes, I know. I'm quite embarrassed. Tom shakes his head. And then Nellie says, wait a second. Tom, do you remember her name? So yeah, totally I remember her name. Okay, what is it then? It's, it's not Helen. It's not Nellie. It's something else, though. It's Jenna. That's right. I was just testing you, says the English girl. Oh, no, I was just testing you. You guys were not testing me. Both of you forgot my name, says Jenna. And then she runs off and goes and cries in the bedroom. A different bedroom, though, than the one that Helen ran off to. And Tom says, oh, no. Now she's crying, too. And Nellie says, well, I hope you're satisfied. Tom says, it's not my fault, it's your fault. And then I said, you know, there's only one solution for this. We're going to have to go out and get Chinese food. Chinese food? Why do we need to go get Chinese food? And Jenna said, not Jenna, Nellie says, because, and I can't believe you don't even know this about your own girlfriend. Oh, she's not my girlfriend. just met her like yesterday. And you expect her to blow you before the big game? Oh, yeah. You are a Neanderthal. Oh, I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I want my hair to look nice before the game. You're what? My hair. She does my blood, my bone, my comb outs. She's excellent. Yeah, I pay her $40. It's it's consensual, you know. Your hair? Yeah. The whole wash, blow dry, the whole 9 yards. I'm sorry. I misunderstood your early exchange. So anyway, let's go back to the Chinese food. Right, Chinese food. What kind of Chinese food do you want to get? Chinese food. Well, like, you know, Szechuan or what? Some other kind of Chinese food? Let's just get Panda Express, of course. But, okay, well, why are we getting Chinese food? Because I have learned during my time with my beloved friends, Jenna and Helen, that nothing soothes an angry heart. Nothing cheers up a sorrowful womb like delicious Chinese food. For both of them, it's their soothing balm. It's their mother's teat during a storm. It's their port during breastfeeding. And Tom says, well, all right then, let's get a Panda. So Tom and Nellie go and get in Tom's car. And Tom's car is a RAV4, but he's got it pretty pimped out. So he's got blinking lights on his rims, and he's got a license plate that says Tom FX, Tom FXS, which means Tom fucks, but that's what people think. But that's what, of course, you know, that's what Nellie thinks, and she says, Tom, does your license plate say Tom fucks? And Tom's like, what? No, bro. It says Tom FX's. Well, what does that mean? It means a field goal kicks. F for field goal and XS for kicks. Yeah. Well, why did you choose K? Well, somebody already had that license plate. Oh, all right. Well, let's get in the car then. Let's go. All right, cool. We're getting in the car. I'm driving along. Where are we going again? We're going to Panda Express. All right, that's fine. You don't mind if we stop by Date Rape Hill, do you? What? No, I don't want to stop by Date Rape Hill. It's one of my favorite spots. Why do you like it? Well, I mean, you know, it's got a slope to it. All hills have slopes. Okay, well, I mean, but you know, it's got a date farm on top of it. Okay, but what about the rape part?
Well, I think it. I don't know. I always assumed it was French or something for farm.
Date rape hill? You believe to be a location where there's farms?
Well, yeah. What do you think it is?
You know what? Never mind. Why do you want to go to the date farm right now? Aren't we on a mission for Panda Express?
Well, it just occurred to me that maybe instead of just having Panda, we could cheer them up with some dates.
Who eats dates?
Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of dates.
You're a big fan of dates?
Yeah, I like to rape the fuck out of them.
What?
Yeah, I like to put the date fruit on my penis and just fuck the shit out of it.
Okay. Can you just let me out right here, please?
What?
just let me out.
All right. And Tom drove off and got Panda by himself. Took it back to the girls. It didn't really make him feel any better. And then before Tom could get Jenna to suck a dick. That's right, he didn't actually want that. He was gonna get her to, blow dry his hair. But that's when somebody comes storming in. Who is it? It's Nellie. And she says,
Do not trust this man.
and of course he says, what?
He puts figs on his penis.
And he's like, that's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. And she said,
You just told me that in the car.
I never said anything of the sort. I do not know what the fuck you're talking about, you liar. And, the other two girls are confused, and they're like,
Well, did he or did he not?
says Jenna.
I mean, did he say that?
And, after a little bit of time, the girls are getting pretty convinced by the time that he never said that. And poor Now's getting a little flustered,
But he did say it. He did. He talks about it. Putting right on top of his penis.
and, Tom says, look, I can tell you exactly what I said. I said, I like to rape dates by putting him on my dick and fucking the shit out of him.
That's what I said.
No, you said figs.
Okay. Can we all please together ask this man to leave?
You want me to go? But aren't you going to blow dry my hair?
Well, I'm a little weirded out by the language and aggressiveness of the sexual energy you're directing to this fruit. What do you do with it after you're done with your business with it there?
Oh, buy it, pay for a Uber for it, huh? Back to the date tree. Of course, it's pretty much just all mush at that point, but I figure it's the least I owe it after the indignities I put it through.
Oh, I see. I like you. I did the same thing.
Says Alan, you do?
Yeah, except for me, it's not with dates.
Well, what's it with?
Canned the soup.
cans of soup? Yeah, I got like 3 cans of soup at my china cabinet right now. Your china cabinet, huh? Yeah, there's a lot of room up there. You might call my inside cabinet. Well, you know what? I like in a woman a cavernous vagina. You know why? Because I've got a penis that expands upward and outward like a balloon. And I gotta get it in there before I get erect because it's gonna fill up the entire insides, you know. It gets stuck there until I gotta get sensation by spinning you this way around because once it gets engorged, it's not going anywhere. If you're cavernous enough to even handle it, that's fantastic. Because the last woman I intercoursed with, I spread her hips apart. Like she looked like she had already given birth, but she'd never had any babies yet. After I was done with her, her hips separated. Why? Because my penis is not very long, but it's wide as fuck. Super wide. And square. Cubular, you might say. Really. And she lifts up her skirt, and lo and behold, what does she have between her legs? She's not wearing any panties. She's got a square vagina. And at this point, you've got Jenna and Nellie, and they're freaking out. Jenna's like, "Oh my God, would you please put that down? Oh my God, that's so gross. I had no idea you had that thing." And then, you have Nellie saying, Helen, are you sure that you want to be showing that to everybody? Aren't you be a little forward? And Tom's like, no, you are not, because let me show you something. And he pulls his pants down, he whips out his penis, and oh my God, it's a perfect fit. It's like a Rubik's Cube that fits directly into a Rubik's Cube hole. As though it were made for that. And then you can almost hear the mechanics of the balloon-style expansion process happening within her. Once they try it out, he inserts it in there. And Jenna says, I can't believe you guys are having sex right in front of us. And Melly says, perhaps, Jenna, we should leave the room. But Jenna's got her phone out and she's filming. No, this is fine. This is gonna be fantastic for TikTok. I'm gonna put K-pop under it, and it's gonna go. People are gonna go wild for this. And then Tom says, "Well, I'm done," and the end. That was the end of the story. And obviously, Helen looked disappointed, and everyone said. Everyone looked around and agreed, nodded in a satisfied agreement. Well, that's how it's supposed to be. The end. That's the end of host Eric's bedtime story. Oh. That would have sucked if the microphone had been off the whole time. Yeah, the end of the stream too. I gotta go to bed. Oh, yes, the afterword. But in fact, you have a point there. I need to talk about the afterword. So, it's I again, Datrick, who wrote the introduction. And I want to tell you now about the story you just heard and the introduction I'd written previously and how it links to this, my postscript addendum, which you might call Introduction Part 2. Anyhow, having now heard the story I previously introduced, I must say I was thoroughly unimpressed. I found the whole thing tawdry, cheap, easy, lacking in plot or character development, no meaningful dialogue exchange between the characters, no emotion, nothing real, just a casual, breezy, soft-core porn version of, I don't know, something with more wit and intelligence, like the Bolshoi Ballet. Signed, Datrick Jürgenwagen. Critic. Oh, man. Datrick really tore up my bedtime story in the afterword. I wish I hadn't picked him to write it. I had to agree to no stipulations for him to even agree to write it. Which meant I knew I could be getting into this, but he hated the story. I had nothing good to say about it. He didn't even think it was a little bit funny? No. He said, and I quote, Eric's attempts at humor worked about as well as a dolphin at a cactus party. And I thought, wow, that's probably not well. I'm not sure what a cactus party looks like. I'm assuming it doesn't have a dolphin pool. But maybe if you're a cactus, it's really exotic. It's hard to say exactly what the metaphor means. So, I did think it was unnecessary for him to add, P.S. Never ever listen to anything Eric says. And that was like, okay, it's overkill. But what are you going to do? And then I've got the index, the glossary, of course. I'm not going to go through those. I've got for more references or more information page with all the citations. I've got hyperlinks on the digital version to earlier drafts. I've got charts, bar graphs. I've got Venn diagrams. I got a couple of those jaggedy lines that show stock market things. I've got 2 square root signs, a division sign, some other math things. That's about it. Anyhow, I'm not going to go through all that stuff. It's a little bit boring. I mean, then there's the appendices, of course, but I don't want to go through those. Those are complicated. The deconstruction of the analysis in the first appendices that I do in the second appendices is really dense. So anyway, I'll see y'all guys later. I don't want you to forget something, though. I'm very concerned that you might forget it. You have a history of forgetting it. Please don't forget to remember to not forget. 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 To eat plenty of cheese. The end.